12th housers, the isolation house. The house where you find yourself alone a lot, projected on a lot, and always healing, renewing your mind and your subconscious. Because I'm a 12th houser, and I know it's a lot of us out here that are loners. And we're loners because people just don't understand us, or we just get drained by people. Being around a lot of people, we absorb their energy. And so depending on if you have planets in 12th house, depending on the planets you have, it's even stronger. The energy is even stronger. Your gifts are heightened even more. And so I just want to just talk and kind of like let you guys know you're not alone out there. It took a minute for me to get here, to come back. I'll say that, right? Because if you look at my channel, I've been talking 12th house stuff for like the past maybe 10 years. And being a 12th houser, you always feel misunderstood. So I had to push through, and so do you if you're listening. You have to push through that feeling of not being heard, misunderstood all the time. You have to understand, we have to understand that there is an audience for us. We literally was put here for this purpose, to shed healing. But the thing with 12th housers, in order to be the teacher, you first have to be the student, and we find ourselves going through a lot of endings, a lot of hard things that'll push us to our purpose. And I'm just going to use me for an example. So not only do I have a stellium in the 12th house, my north node is in the 12th house, meaning my south node is in the 6th house. 6th house is your house of health, daily routines, your habits, things of that nature. And the way that the universe redirected me back to my north node was I was overworking myself. I was going through a lot of endings and losses, but I was not taking the time to heal myself. That's what we supposed to do. So I was so rooted in my south node and just working. And before I know it, I woke up and I was sick. My whole right side of my body became paralyzed. I had suffered from a stroke, and that stroke pushed me into isolation. I was in isolation in the hospital and then in rehab. And then when I came home, the rehab continued, and which also put me in isolation. There was a lot of endings and rebirths, and transformations, and a lot of self-love had to be poured into myself and just things of that nature. So what happens if you do not obey your 12th house calling and you try to root yourself in your south node or the 6th house or whatever your other planets land that are not making your focus be that 12th house energy where you release and you heal and you go and rejuvenate, everything the 12th house is. You need that solitude. You need to have boundaries up energetically and things of that nature. If you're not doing that, you're beating up the vessel that you came here in, and it will, hit you. It'll be a karmic retribution, so to speak. And that's what I had to go through, to get back on this path of what I'm doing now. Healing, self-love, you know what I mean? Talking about deaths and endings, things that I'm naturally gifted at doing, but I've always pushed away from because I was trying to pursue other careers that were not my purpose, right? And so I overloaded myself, overloaded my nervous system, and I got sat down for a minute so I can understand what I'm speaking on now. And so, yeah, that 12th house is something you just can't get away from, Even though I'm a 12th house, so you can't get away from it. You can't get away from the gifts and the downloads and the things that just come to you naturally. But you can try to throw yourself into the opposite more. Like be so grounded into 3D, trying to do what everybody else doing. And that is our biggest mistake, I think, trying to blend or, because I truly believe we are really not supposed to work for the quote unquote man, corporations, things like that. Only way we do that is if we're leading in some type of way where we're not being micromanaged by a man. Like somebody has to literally give you creative range so you can be able to utilize the downloads and, you know, the messages that you get that would help that company. But if that's not, you know, given to you, it's best for you to live and work in a solo type energy. Though every time that you try to blend, you find yourself being betrayed or ostracized for no reason, projected onto. And this is the life of a 12th houser. But if nobody has ever explained this to you as a kid, you feel like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did I do? That's always what you find yourself asking yourself. Like, what did I do? I'm always just chilling. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. All you have to do is arrive. You are karma to people. You are a big light. And don't let you have the sun in your 12th house. You just walk in and you shine a whole light on somebody dark stuff, the stuff that nobody knows. You shine the light on their subconscious, the things that they only know, right? It's crazy how I can walk up to somebody and talk to them a couple minutes, and I'll be able to know exactly what to tell them to heal them in that moment, to lift them up in that moment, to, you know, like redirect their subconscious thoughts about themselves. It's so weird, and it freaks them out too. It's like, how did you know to say that? How did you? Thank you so much. And I've been doing that since a kid. Like, I'm sure you have too. You are the child that can sit next to a 80-year-old and have a full conversation where the child, another child the same age as you, is going to interact in the age bracket that they should, if that makes sense. We are old souls. We've been talking and having full conversations ever since we've been able to talk to people that's older than us. You may find yourself always hung with people that were older than you. You never really got in good with the cliques and shit that was of your age group. I mean, I'm speaking of my experience. Most of my friends was older than me, at least 2 years. And the friends that were in my age group, I eventually just like weaned away from them. And they continued to still do like the whole high school stuff and all that. But me, I just thought I was too grown, child. And I just never fit in. I could be in a room of a lot of people and they could be there to see me, child, and I still would feel like I don't fit in. I always say I'm just visiting, you know, and this ain't I used to, when I was a kid, I said, this ain't my family. Like, I know they my family, but I'm different. My mom would probably used to say, girl, go sit down. I used to always tell her, I'm different than y'all. I'm not. And as a kid, you don't know why you feel that way and why you're saying those things, but it all goes back to your chart. And so this is just a quick little chat. I'll come back with more because the 12th house, it's just never ending. We can speak on our lives over and over again. I want you to get in the comments though. I want you guys to let me know some of your experiences. Let me know, where is the 12th house in your chart? Let me know, because I know I'm not alone, even though I am alone, right? As a 12th houser, you're not alone, but you are alone. There is a sea of people out there that are just like you, but they in a room just like me recording this. And another thing I want to say before I go, because I have Mercury, I do talk a lot, right? But I hold all those thoughts in because I'm always alone. So now I am being, you know, initiated, ignited to, you know, start speaking and letting all these things come out. What I want to say about having 12th housers, most likely your talents are hidden. So you probably have a lot of things that you create, but you are not putting them out. So there are things that you probably do that are so creative, so big, and ways to heal the collective, really, and move the needle forward in a healing way, because this is a Pisces house. And we hold off on our gifts, right? Because we just like to sit on our stuff, and we like to, you know, be in that Neptune-ish energy of imagination, of manifestation. But as a 12th houser, you're not meant to sit on all those things, right? So that's the whole shush about. You have to learn, especially if you have a North Node in the 12th house. You're going to have to learn how to get out of your solitude, so to speak, and find a way to maneuver and get your gifts and your ways of healing, or however you're sent here to lead, out to the masses. I just want to remind you, you are special. You are unique. That's why you always stood apart from the group, apart from the family, apart from anything. Why you've always known things without anybody having to tell you or show you. You just knew it. That is a blessing. That is a gift. And it's no better time than now to be a 12th houser, because now this is your time really to shine, because all of the times that we've been knocked down in life, those were lessons for us to learn how to heal ourselves, how to wire our brain and to change our subconscious to be a healer, because that's literally what you're here to do. You're here to lead, and you can't lead without being hurt yourself. Right? You have to go through certain things so you can learn certain things and be introduced to different teachings and different things that you weren't before. That's all about the endings of the 12th house, right? So it's going to be a lot of endings of old ways of thinking, old people being around, old ways of addressing people and your purpose. You may have went through several jobs that you just like, this ain't for me. When you first got it, you may have thought it was perfect. And then you realize, no, this is not an alignment for me, because you're supposed to work for yourself. You're supposed to heal first, though. So we go through all that shit. So eventually at the end, when we find our purpose, we figure out, okay, this is what I'm here to talk about. This is what I'm here to help heal, because I had to go through the ups and downs of that journey. And there's no better teacher than a person that's walked those shoes first. And that's literally what your purpose is. And so if you're feeling like you always hearing negative stuff about the 12th house, you won't hear it over here, because 12th house brings a lot of blessings. I have so many stories on how God has just stepped in the nick of time when shit was crumbling. We are God's favorite. And in times of hard times, you may not feel it, but just think about it. Out of the blue, something always works out for you. If you keep your mind on that, that's usually how your life pans out. Everything just works out for you in the nick of time, So anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. That's what I want to say too. 12th house Mercury, I talk a lot. So I'll be talking a lot. Please add to the conversation, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace, love, and happiness. Bye.